All
Wow.
right, great. We are here. Marv runs far.
Yes, sir.
Hey, now you've turned the tables here. Okay, I'm supposed to be interviewing you, but look at this setup.
Yeah, a lot of people have sit here in the studio so far.
All right,
Well,
Marv Schmitz. Thanks for coming on. This
anytime.
back to Ode to the Night. I want to thank you for taking over the race. You ran the whole show.
Oh my.
You did the check-in. You set up your podcasting equipment, and then you basically took care of things while I was a heap of sleeping, frozen mess in my gravity chair. So
You're very welcome. You make it sound way more than what it was. But
you think so?
yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great. I had a blast.
Me
And
too. That was fun.
yeah, that was a lot of fun. One thing, I don't know if you noticed today, but we launched a race called the Perfect PR for next year, a new backyard ultra. And I intentionally didn't talk about it when we talked and did some recording the night of the race.
Yeah.
To get back together and talk about that, because
Cool.
I probably should have gone through it and given you the scoop, but it wasn't time to release any information yet. And everything got solidified between then and now. And now it was a momentous day. We had the new backyard world record set in England.
Oh my God, isn't that nuts? What did they end up with? 77, 70,
81.
81. Get out of here. That is
81.
nuts. Incredible.
Yeah, yeah. So enough about that. What is unique about my hat and your hat?
They're really old.
The OG.
Yeah, the OG hats from 2019.
Yes.
Yeah, they're cool.
You ran that race
Hmm.
and you participated in the 70s uh, retro contest. And I'll have to say, you had a spectacular outfit. And if I remember right, you won the retro. Isn't that right?
Doug Miles and I, we shared first place. Yeah,
You shared first place.
Yeah, we won it together.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, are you planning on breaking that out for this year?
Yeah. In fact, it's over here somewhere. Yes, I just came across it the other day, and it's like, I could show my legs a little. I can do that.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Great. I'm excited. I am so excited.
Me too.
Are you aware that on Friday night before the race, we have a race called the Vanstone Mile?
I'm not aware. Tell me more.
So 8:20 p.m. Friday night, it's a beer mile, fizzy beverage mile for those that don't drink alcohol, or fizzy beverage because we want our participants the next day to be able to run in that also if they choose. It's right after the triple play where crew members, others, even racers that want to preview the course can run a 1 to 3 lap race on Friday night. So I hope you attend or maybe con one of your cohort into doing the Vanstone Mile. So
fun! Sounds great.
Yeah. So if you're not otherwise engaged and already asleep, stop by, since I know you're local. I guess for the out of town folks, it's a little easier for them to dedicate time to the race because they've already come in and they don't have the draw of being home. So if you don't make it, we understand, but that would be a lot of fun to see you out there or your crew.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for letting me know.
Now that you've run a backyard before, and you're quite an accomplished ultra runner, you are very involved in the sport. MARVRUNSFAR podcast. I want to tell everybody about that. Please listen. So I'm a subscriber.
Thanks.
Really happy with what you've launched this year. So you did the race 2 years ago, and now you know what it's about. Has your training changed leading up to this year's race, or are you approaching training differently now that you're experienced with the Ode course?
Training itself, no, has not changed. Right now, where I'm at in my trainings phase, I'm ramping up the miles. What's going to change is my strategy for the race and how I approached it, and that's definitely going to change.
I won't ask you to divulge something that could be competitive to you, but if you'd like to elaborate on it, please do. Anyone listening that hasn't run before, I hope they listen to these interviews because I think they can get a lot of great info from the veterans, the experts like yourself.
The first thing, or I came in after the first lap and was like, wow, that's easy. That's not bad at all. I started all the way in the back. So the next 8 loops, I started in the front with the real runners, you know, with Kurt Brinker and Matt and Sarah and whatnot. And I think that's what broke my back in the end. That I went out too fast, too quick. You know, that I miscalculated the course because it was cool for like 9 hours. You know, it was fun, and then 10 hours, I was like, I wouldn't mind if I timed out now. And then yeah, and then my family came to the start line. I saw them there. I was like, oh, son of a gun, now I can't quit. So that rejuvenated me totally. So my approach for this year is going to be to go out slow in a bit. Go out slow, and from lap 1 get my calories in check. That at least get 400 calories in every hour.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I think a lot of people that do all-day racing and things, it seems that the common belief or knowledge is that you can't put that much calories in. Now,
No.
I will say that you are not a tiny miler, like a sub 4, 140-pound, you know, miler that you see out on the track, right? You're a strong, bigger runner, so it's natural you need a bit more calories. But I don't think anyone, even taking that, or not anyone, I would say at least half the people out there I talk to assume that they can't put down that much food. And do you find that that's something that you've had to learn how to do, or what has helped you do that better?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's after a little while, your mind is not on eating and not on food anymore, or at least it's for me. You know, I don't think about eating and I don't think about drinking either. And you really, I'm actually going to have a sign on my table in my canopy that says "Eat and drink." You know, just so I can see it, just so I remember it. If I get really lucky, I have my wife with me as my crew chief, and then everything is taken care of. You know, because she is on point. It's the best crew I ever had. So she literally shoves a handful of M&Ms down my throat, you know, while I'm in there, and pumps a Monster in me or so, you know, or a Bang. But yeah, I had to learn that, and that's what I do in my runs too, to experiment with tailwind, liquid calories. I don't know. I had a shout out to Elite Feed here in Port Huron. They were good enough to supply us with a ton of gels, different kinds, different brands, you know, so we can try out those and just get it dialed in.
Excellent. You know, you bring up tailwind. That's another big thing that happened today. So we had the launch of a race. We had the whirlwind of a world record. And we just got word from Tailwind that they will be sponsoring the race. So we've had Tailwind in the past. We will have again.
Oh, no kidding.
And so that follows on this week with us also announcing that Parker's Hilltop will be in for the keg beer. So the folks at Overlook and Oak Flats will have the Parker's Hilltop keg beer. The folks at Yellow Gate Cabin area will have the Pigeon Hill beer. And so between that and the tailwinds, and I think we're going to be set here. Marvin, I think you're going to be able to get those calories in. What I would like to know is which beer flavors will it be that you're using each lap?
I usually don't talk about it, but I have not had an alcoholic beverage for a year and 8 days.
Really?
Yeah, June 1st last year was my last drink. So
is that changing your training? you feel your recovery improving? Do you feel?
I don't think so. It was mainly about the calories, the empty calories, that I wanted to get rid of, and that has worked very well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely look fit in May at the race, so I can tell
Thanks.
you're ready this year. I am I'm ahead of you in the, let's call it the age race, and so I'm leading you, and I can tell you that it's hard for me to have the beer like I did when I was in college and recover well. That's where I notice the biggest difference. And I don't know if that's something where maybe when I do, then I don't pay attention to other hydration, and that's what hurts me, not just the product itself. Um, but I will be having some because I'm not racing, so I'm looking forward to that very much.
Awesome.
And I know you watched us test the products there during the night of the May race, and we passed them out, scoring, timer, trail dog. We were having fun and enjoying that. When you think about the different products that you're going to use at the race and you try to plan your nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
do you have a certain strategy as far as variety, and how does that perhaps change during the day as you go from beginning of the race to the end, if at all?
The later in the race, the more the phrase cheap and easy comes to mind, just like me. I want easy food, highly processed, so that my body doesn't have high caloric, because I know myself, I'm not going to eat much at the end, so I need the most dense calories, maybe some cheeseburgers or, bacon. What else is there? Nuts of some sort. So liquid calories, I think, is going to be a big one too. Tailwind for sure. Yeah.
And so you're not just chugging on a bottle of Mrs. Butterworth's syrup and getting that rocket fuel in like that, or a Coke or
I
something.
talked to
You say you wanted really processed and easily available, but then I was surprised when what you mentioned is very, in a way, wholesome foods that aren't quite as available just as a fructose or something.
I was thinking in the beginning of the race. At the end of the race,
Oh.
there comes the moon pies, and there comes the baked goods, and
Okay, gotcha.
yeah, higher sugar.
You transition that during, and is that something where it's a taste change for you during the race, or just because it's so much mental work and you know that maybe not mental, I guess the physical work you're trying to avoid, you want to just get it in and feel that boost right away?
I think you had it right with the mental game, that I just don't want to think about it. I just need to get it in.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's interesting.
I'd rather have it taste good, with who doesn't like a moon pie.
I have to track the race as we're going, and typically you have the score sheets. You saw it, I had lap numbers. I mean, you were in charge of all that, and I think maybe a better way is I just look over at Marvin's pit area and I look and understand the type of food he's eating, and I can probably gauge the laps on that, right?
Yeah, right.
Maybe to the Twinkies and Ho-Hos, I know I'm probably at lap 18, I guess, right?
18 would be good. That's definitely in the cards, I hope. So.
All right, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
So what's your best piece of advice you've received about backyard style racing from anyone?
Don't get caught up in the hype or in the adrenaline of the beginning. So in the first couple hours, you feel good. You might even push yourself. From the very first lap, you gotta slow the F down. That's what I'm going to do.
That's great advice. A few people have said that. And it's hard, right? Because we want to create the coolest, most fun atmosphere. And then you have all these people that have been there before, and they're just so excited. The Ode family is the greatest family of racers in the world.
Oh my God, yeah.
Embrace all the new people coming in, right? So they get sucked into it. And I'm sure that's actually a dangerous thing, because it gets the rookies very excited and pumped up, and everybody just wants to go out and run. And I just want to throw a big butterfly net over them and say, walk,
Yeah, walk.
Stop. You know, ooh, yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, uh, that's a great piece of advice. What do you think is the biggest mid-race challenge? It doesn't have to be the middle point, but
Hmm.
somewhere in the meat of it. You're reaching highs, you're reaching lows. What's going to be your low, the biggest low that you feel you will have to deal with?
My biggest low is definitely going to be mental. There's no question about that. When the thoughts creeping in of you ran enough, you don't have to prove anything. You've ran further before, it's but then you just gotta the competing side or the competitive side inside you comes out and trumps that.
Mm-hmm.
So that has to come out
Yeah,
when the going gets tough.
right. And you were a top 10 finisher in 19, if I remember, right? I try to have all this memorized. But
Was I? I don't know.
how many
At
miles did you go?
55, at least close to it. 13
Right.
or so.
Right. So I
12.
think you were tied for eighth, right? You probably, I think there was a group of you that went out at the same time. You made a road loop, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then when you transitioned from the trail to the road, what was that like? And do you have any advice for the new runners there?
Oh boy. I don't want to see. I don't want to say it was hell because then it gets into your head and you get scared of it, and that's already a bad place to start mentally. But no, it was hell. That's what killed me. That was one of the many things that killed me. But oh, I
So why
hated
do
it
you
with a
think
passion.
that some other runners found relief when they got to the road loop and you found that to be hell? Do you think it was because you had fallen behind maybe on calories and gotten in
Hmm.
and the end was the end?
Oh
So
yeah.
could have said, here's you're now transitioning to 4 laps around a rubberized track surface, and you would have said that's hell.
Yeah.
Or if we sent
Absolutely.
back out to the trail, you would have said that's a special kind of hell.
Yeah, I don't think it had so much to do with the actual surface or with the actual course. It was just
Okay.
that point in my race where I was. It was no good.
Did you change shoes for the road surface? You use different trail shoes and road shoes.
I don't remember. I definitely would bring them, or I'm gonna bring two different pairs this year. Yeah.
So you were lucky. Year one, we had a very dry, nice trail condition.
That was
That's probably as good as the trail can be.
gorgeous.
Last year, we also had good weather, but we had a 1 hour rain delay, and everyone was worried the trail would be wet. But what happened was we had such dry conditions beforehand that the 1 hour rain actually almost like perfectly conditioned the trail and gave it some softness and spring.
Nice.
That was nice. So in both cases, people could do that. The trail, you've probably run this trail in the wet, in the slop, maybe. I
Hmm.
don't know. Certainly, you see how it is in the winter in the ice, and people can make great time on it.
Hmm.
Will you be bringing traction devices for your shoes in case of wet rain condition?
No, I will not. I have the Solomons. They have a very aggressive thread as it is, and that's that has been great.
Yeah, I run in the speed cross. I like the tread. Is
Nice.
that the Solomons you have or a different?
It's not the speed cross. I don't know which ones there are.
They've got
They were in clearance, so
they they, they know what to do for trails, so they
yeah.
make choose. What's your choice for if you could run with any one runner? And it doesn't have to be a runner we know, not an Ode
Hmm.
runner or anything. Any one runner, past, present, in the world that you could run with, and I don't mean running at the Ode. I mean just run with. Who would that be?
Super cheesy, but I've never ran with my wife before, and she's an outstanding runner and accomplished runner on her own. But our paces are just so different, and I used to be way more competitive that I didn't want to slow down for her, and that really turned her off into ever running with me. So yeah, I would like to have I would like to have a really nice run with just the two of us. So.
That's nice. So that would not be the first lap of the Ode this year. You wouldn't enjoy that. No, that's not. Okay. Well, I was going to offer that, but I don't think that'll
Thanks.
fit the bill yet. So, yeah. We'll figure it out another way. So I've got a couple of speed round questions that I'm going to go for you. But before that, can you tell us a bit about your podcast and what motivated you to start that? And what have you gained from the experience of doing that you had no concept would have happened for you or presented to you?
So my podcast, it's called MARVRUNSFAR. It is, well, I started in February, I think, and I posted new episodes every 2 weeks. Now with the springtime and with the race season coming up, I'm going to space it out into once a month. And I started the podcast because where I'm at in my running community, there's so many incredible people that nobody ever hears of or nobody ever heard of. I have a Michigan Hall of Famer runner here. I have the mom who gets up at 5 a.m. to run 5 miles to get her miles in, or runs between soccer practice. You know, I have a lady who ran Boston 30 weeks pregnant or 33 weeks pregnant. You know, and they're all regular people like you and me. And nobody ever hears of them. And while I do enjoy listening to another podcast with Courtney DeWalter or Zach Bitter, so all outstanding people, but I can't identify with them. You know, I heard everything I need about them, you know, and I love hearing about them, and they're so approachable, and they text you back if you text them, you know. But I really wanted to give those people that are around me a platform because I get super inspired and I get a lot of motivation from them. And I think a lot of people would get the same from that. And what I have experienced, what blew my mind, was that just people text me and said, "Hey, thanks. That's how I felt." And I had one of the most prevalent episodes I had was a good friend of mine. She got injured. She got injured, like we all do, and she fell into depression because, as a runner, you identify as a runner, and that's all you are. It's not that you're accomplished in your profession, that you're a spouse, or that you're a parent. You know, none of that matters because you're a runner and you can't run and you're pissed off. So. And you isolate, and then it's really hard to come out of that slump. And I've been there, and I know a ton of people that have been there, you know. And I got messages from people that listened to that episode and said, "Well, thanks for having her on and talk about that, because that's how I felt, and it made me go back running again." You know, and seeing other people accomplish things and seeing other people getting a kick out of what I do, that's the best thing there is. Seeing other people succeed. Oh,
that's fantastic. I'm going to tell the listeners that when you came in and set up your equipment the night of the Ode race, and you talked to me quite a bit about what was going on and how you do what you do and why you like it. And I don't even know if you realized you were doing it because you were so enthused about it. And what I can say is that if people think that your sphere of subjects sounds remotely interesting, they have to give it a try, because it's more than just the subjects. It's the person that is doing the creation. It's the intensity, or I don't want to say intensity because I don't want to scare anybody. It's the enthusiasm and passion that you bring to it. That absolutely comes through. So I just want to tell you that when I saw that, I knew that I was going to be a longtime listener. So I'm happy and excited for everything you're going to put out. I wish you the best of luck in that. And I really want you to, I hope, be able to distract yourself at more Ode races and do more things live from there when you're not running. I don't want it to ever take away from your participation, but it's so fun to watch someone doing something that they love so much. It's really fantastic. So I know that you picked the right thing, a right, I guess, calling to get into that for any reasons, and many reasons you probably don't have time to tell us. it's all the right decision, and that comes through for sure. So,
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
no
Yeah, that
problem.
was really nice of you. And I like I told you when I interviewed you, that right back at you, that same enthusiasm, that same love for people comes through when you direct races. You know, and that's
Yeah,
why you're successful at it, and that's
it's
why
fun.
we love you. You know.
Well, thank you very
Cool.
much. Thank you. You guys, look, this thing behind me is the trail. We're lucky to have it near us, right? And that's why this started, because I wanted people to see that. And then it was just a matter of saying, look, you're not here to have a race. You're here to have an experience, and my job is to just make sure that you have the tools to have your best experience. So we kind of look at it that way, and I know that you're very typical of our Ode family. I mean, it's just all about passion, having fun, and making sure the people around you are taken care of. And when you do that, then all of a sudden you realize that that experience for you was that much better. And so that's what we like about it. So can't wait to be out
100%.
there soon. I'm going to give you the lightning round. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite band?
Metallica.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Moose tracks.
Ooh, second one today. Cousin Eddie or Clark Griswold?
Oh, Clark.
Chatty or not chatty during the race?
Chatty.
Swedish Fish or Sour Patch Kids?
Both. I mix them because I'm a heathen.
First person. Well done, medium or rare?
Oh, rare.
Porta John or Bush's?
Porta John.
Favorite donut?
All of them.
Little Debbie or Mr. Kipling's?
Little Debbie.
All right, thanks. Now
Wow.
you have graduated to the final round, and that is where you get to ask me one question. You can't ask me who's going to win the race, but most everything else is on limits, and I'll see if I can answer for you. But you don't have to ask a question that puts people on the spot. So I know we're surprising you.
What location had the most successful runners? What start location?
Last year, okay. So this year will be the biggest first real test, and we're going to be able to do some statistical analysis because we have an MCM timing, Mike Melton coming in, the best in the business for ultra races.
I know him. Yeah.
If you know about the biggest races, he's timed them. So we're very excited about that. I'm going to be getting to see Mike and take him around the course here next week as we get ready and plan our strategy. So we're going to have great data this year. It's going to be easier to answer next year. But here's what I will say. It seemed like a proportion. This is tough. The Oak Flats runners beat their estimates compared to the Overlook runners. The Overlook runners had slightly more people to get to the road lap than Oak Flats last year. So that kind of creates a toss-up. But then our winner came from Overlook. At the same time, and we have quite a big analysis, you can dig for it in Rookie Racers if you want to know. This is the strangest sounding thing in the world, but I will defend this as firmly as I have to. It is different running the course from the three different starting locations. I feel, and it may be just for me, because I have a certain style of the way I have to run, my age, injuries. I feel that Oak Flats is more energy efficient to start and finish there than the other locations. So now all of a sudden I have a bunch of conflicting data that tells me I can't quite answer you, Marvin. And I'm not trying to be evasive, but the data is just not there yet. So this year, with the amount of runners we're going to have, we're probably going to have over 60 runners at each location.
Wow.
And have a real statistical analysis.
Cool.
So, but we have great favorites already. Of the top 6 from last year, we gave them their choice, and they're about evenly distributed between the 3 start lines.
Wow. How do you disperse the runners? When you come in, when you check in, then you get your start, or how does it work?
No, I've sent out a survey. I'm glad you asked. Many people, probably 25 to 30% have still not answered it. It's in their inbox, in the email that they use for ultra sign up. And we need this survey information. They give their preferences of where they wish to be and who they must or who they wish to pit with. And then I have the terrible decision of having to divide people up, and not everyone can get their first choices. So it's very difficult. What I keep mulling around, and maybe this is something that at the races and other get-togethers, because I know we're going to see each other more than just this July. What I'm thinking of is we may need to have like almost like the NFL draft or NBA draft or whatever. We have a day before the race where we all get together, maybe at our local sponsor, Parker's Hilltop, and we sit down, and I have one of those machines where all the
Nice
balls are in, and we pull it out, and everybody sees where they're going to go. I think that would be pretty cool.
That'd be awesome.
At least we'd all have a good time, some good food and good drink doing it. So, but maybe we do that and broadcast it. Maybe that could be a special podcast.
Right.
It could be live. But,
sounds good.
It's difficult to do. And I tried doing that, and I have to do that over the next week or two. It's very difficult. So
very cool. When do we find out where we are? Are you sending an email out, or?
Yeah, that'll be in the next couple weeks, because I have to give everyone a chance to plead their case in case I've made horrendous errors. So
cool. Very good.
I'll invite you over to help me solve the puzzle.
Right.
It's a disaster. It's very difficult. But it is what it is, and I think it's kind of it. Most races don't do that. So in a way, we have to run 3 races, right? And it's harder, but I really think it adds a bit of personality and excitement to the race. So I
believe in you.
So we'll see.
Cool. Exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
Thank you so much. Any last thoughts or advice for the new folks coming in?
Don't freak yourself out. It's just running. It's just running. Just have fun. That's what we're all about. Don't be intimidated. We're your best friends. You just haven't met us yet.
Oh, I like that. That's fantastic.
Much love to everybody.
Marv, where does everybody find your podcast? How do they search?
Spotify, Stitcher, all the big podcast hosts sites. So.
MARVRUNSFAR. Marv runs far.
That's right.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Thank you, buddy. Safe training.
It's good seeing you.
Good to see you.
Take it easy.